Right. My what's the name? Live streaming doesn't work. It's for some reason it's disabled. I'm just, I'll be honest. Despite appearances, I really am starting to feel such heaviness. Like I have fought so hard. To just get nowhere. When I think of all my efforts, all my emails, everything. When I think of everything that's been done to me, I'm tired. I feel just so drained. I know that the only thing that gives me confidence is knowing that obviously the people who've done all this evil, I'm more than a million of them. I'm worth more than a million of them, obviously. But it doesn't make it any easier, does it? I mean, there's just no shortage of this. I don't know. It's just very depressing. It's like there's no reason for me to just. There's no incentive for me to just keep going. I just don't. You know, when you're on your own and you're just carrying pain. Anyway, so this note, this letter through the door, I don't want it to be seen. This manageress, honestly. Do people actually read what they have written? Do they read it back to themselves and really like? I don't think they do. I don't think people think about what they're doing. So I went up to Scottish Basil 40 on the desk. Nothing's changed. So as of tomorrow, yesterday, Friday the 3rd of March, I'm homeless. Oh, loads of stuff in there. Thanks, that's really great. Just give me one great big push off Beachy Head. That's all you got to do. Oh, no, shoot me in the back of the head. That would be easier. If anyone wants to join me. Anyway, you realise that it was my GP that got me in there, and this damn care coordinator who thinks she's done her bit. And yet, Eben's saying that she was okay with me staying there, even though Darren, her friend, my partner, was abusing me, and he was arrested in her flat. And she's saying she's disposed of my possessions, sent me a letter saying she's threatening to dispose of them, and then, something about her neighbour may or may not have gotten rid of things of mine. And I made a gift for her. I made a gift for Eben. And I had valuables in those possessions. I also have a loudhailer. I ordered a loudhailer. So I go onto the street. The last thing I do, I want to go onto the street and say exactly what's been happening to me. I also need a smartphone. I don't have a smartphone because I want to live stream it. Even though my live stream thing is not working, I don't know why. Obviously, I guess I've said things that YouTube doesn't want me to say. Like the fact that illegal immigrants are coming over here in the thousands to our teeny tiny, this tiny blip of a country, this tiny island. And I said 2 decades ago, I said to my mother, there's no room for people who are born here, because people are popping out children all over the place. Now you've got thousands upon thousands of, they're not even asylum seekers, a lot of them are criminals. Well, they're criminals anyway because they're coming here illegally. That makes them criminals. But school children are being taught self-defense techniques because schoolgirls are being sexually assaulted and raped by these criminals that are being put up in hotels. Look, you see this hip? See this scar right there? I've got a scar there. That's where I stabbed myself through the arm with a 6-inch knife. See that cross? That's where the stitch is. That's where the stitch was. You can't really see in this light. You might be able to see in this light. That's where I stabbed myself right through the arm. The Strand Hotel. And that hotel has been closed down and used for illegal immigrants. See? See that light patch? Right there. I just don't want to go on anymore. I'm so tired. There's no reason for me to carry on. There's just no reason. Anyway, this is the letter. This is the letter. It's just so... The GP got me back into a place. This place that I'm now being made homeless from again. After I was moved in there in November. So I've been in there for 4 months, just 4 months. And the GP got me in there with the care coordinator, fought so hard to get me in there. I've had crimes committed against me by the police abusing powers trolls. And an obscene phone call one night. I had it into the early hours. And I'm on a welfare list there. And I reported this to the manageress. Well, wait till you hear what she's got to say in this letter. Wait till you hear what she's got to say. And Princess Angela Everett, I've got your harassing messages and text messages. Don't think that you can comment on my live streams where I haven't disabled the comments, telling me that I'm trying to take the light off your own crimes and saying, oh, something to do with domestic abuse. The Domestic Abuse Act says that you should stay in these places. You sound like Tina Chave. You sound like you're that grifter. Okay? That grifter Tina Chave, Dan from Police Abusing Powers, his friend Tina Chave from the Independent Advice Network, who falsely offered me help and said I shouldn't be in these places if I'm on severe disability. I self-funded hotels for 9 months for my safety because I was attacked by criminals. One who was on a tag at Belmore Road, And that's another thing. Lisa, the manageress, I also played her that recording of that criminal on a tag threatening to beat me up. And she also admitted to me that Sherelle Clark, who was mentioned on the news as having mugged the elderly with her mother, was kicked out of that place. Yes, you know Sherelle Clark, the one who drunkenly assaulted me, and I recorded her as well. I told Lisa, did you see that she was mentioned online by the BBC and MSN covered it? And 2 years earlier, Hampshire Constabulary said that they were doing the same thing on the Isle of Wight, mugging the elderly, imprisoned for 2 years, released, and went to Belmore Road, where I was. Well, they've just been, in September of last year, they were imprisoned for 5 years for doing the same thing again. But the police weren't arresting Sherelle Clark, they were arresting me for doing what the sergeant told me to do, which was to purchase a dictaphone to record antisocial behaviour. And this Scottish Basil 40 on the desk here, you know, this is what he said to me when I went up to the reception a couple of hours ago. He straight away said, "You can put me at the top of the list of your complaints." Those were his words. I said, "Oh, was that an admission then?" "Oh, no, it's the council, it's nothing to do with me, This is the same idiot who screamed and shouted at me, "You've seen a mental health nurse!" And they're supposed to be trained in mental health. He's demented. I think he's an alcoholic. I wasn't going to say it before, but he's admitted. I said, "I told you, you got me to come in and have a cup of tea. You started screaming and shouting at me. You got me to come in and have a cup of tea in a really demented state. All I did was admit that I recorded you saying that you remember I was here 6 years ago, before the council started moving me around and making me homeless. And he's been there for 25 years. And this is a place that was that had a Facebook page. And I don't want to give it away, but the Facebook page was for survivors, and I'm one of those survivors of that place. That's how bad it was. It was a petition saying, "Stop picking on the vulnerable and the disabled." And nothing's changed. And I'm meant to be on a welfare list. And his colleague did a welfare check on me about a week or 2 weeks ago. They know I haven't been signing the register because they know I'm not well. And I even showed Lisa the bruises that that police thug did to me during a welfare check. When on Beachy Head, the day on the 3rd of February, when I found out my father's been dead for over a year, I got on the phone and I was screaming and crying on the phone. They didn't come down and check on me, and I still don't know how my father died. So this is Lisa, all my emails to Lisa the manageress, because I forwarded them to Juliet as well. And now I've got to get Juliet to come down there. They know about Juliet. I told Lisa, but they don't listen, or they just don't care. A lady who's got cancer, who was attacked in the street trying to help me, who practically saved my life, who's been a support worker. And even with Juliet, I still want to kill myself. Because the crisis team bullied me, knowing that I've got no one else. And their selfishness, they're telling me to think of Juliet, when in actual fact, they don't care about her. because they know that I have got no one else. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put on to her, aren't I? I desperately need support, which they know. I am directly opposite supported accommodation, which I was in when my mother was dying of cancer. And my mother's friends said, are they helping you there? No, I couldn't physically eat. So much so, I lost weight and my tummy was dipping in. I could not physically eat. I was on the floor in all my hoarding and clutter, which is on the NHS website and still hasn't been diagnosed, OCD. I had my arms out saying, help, help. And Heather, my music teacher, peripatetic friend, my peripatetic music teacher friend came in with her opera friend. And they literally picked me up off the floor. That was supported accommodation under a social worker landlord. And I've got evidence because I've got the death certificate I signed at the town hall where the MP office is, has got the address of that supported accommodation across the road. So, given all my experiences where I live now, where I've been put back in this place and nothing has changed at all since it was that notorious hellhole with that demented Scottish Basil Fawlty, nothing I say touches base with, there's nothing in these people, nothing in here, nothing in here, nothing between these ears. And this is the letter I got from the manageress, despite everything that I have said to her and the fact that she admitted that they'd had that vile Sherelle Clark there because the police protect the criminals. As soon as I went up to that desk with this letter, he immediately said, you can put my name at the top of that letter. He even said to me when he made out he was a nice guy, he said, I'll sign a piece of paper to say, yeah, I'll sign a piece of paper to say, I remember that you were here 6 years ago. Yes, I'll sign it and date it for you. I said, oh, good, thanks. I'll delete that recording. Not that I recorded him as a threat or anything like that. I didn't have to let him know that I had recorded him. By law, I don't have to do that. So this is a letter I got from the manageress. In light of everything I've just said. Dear Bryony, we have been discussing your placement here with Eastbourne Borough Council. We. Funny, isn't it, how all the staff say it's nothing to do with us. It's the council's decision. Nothing to do with us. No, there's your admission. We have been discussing your placement here, as we feel that we are not able to offer the level of support that you have been requesting and evidently need. Although staff here at Anonymous are trained in mental health to an extent, unfortunately it is to a basic level. Basic level. You've seen a mental health nurse! Oh! Screaming and shouting at me, rude, belligerent. And the younger guy, what's his name? Ferguson, coming into the flat, opening the door, saying, I'm just doing a welfare check when I could have been naked. He actually came into the flat to do a welfare check because I hadn't been signing the register. But they already knew that. They already knew because I told them that I had crimes being committed against me. But no one wanted to show any interest. I had evidence of an obscene phone call on my YouTube channel, and I wanted to show Lisa what I was putting up with. I showed her the bruises caused by the police officer. Not one person bothered to come into the flat to say, I'm sorry to hear about your father's death. But no, Ferguson comes in, and I could have been completely starkers. And I told him what happened to me, and still there was no real compassion or anything, nothing. What do you do that helps you relax? What do you do that helps you relax? And I've got all this trauma, all these crimes that have been committed against me, against my human rights, civil liberties, and my sovereignty. And I ring reception, and I wasn't shouting or anything like that, but he hung up on me. Trained in not even at a basic level, not even basic manners. Hence, why we have introduced access to external mental health agencies, much like the nurse you previously spoke to, what very briefly, before being shouted at by Scottish Basil Fawlty on the desk. I had abuse from them. Me and other people had abuse from those people 6 years ago, before the council made me homeless. Me and a grandmother 6 years ago were threatened with forcible removal off the premises by some young man who made out that he was so brave because he'd been in the Navy, who's nothing more than a little coward. A little coward. Just join Eastbourne Police. Therefore, your placement with us will be coming to an end. In other words, we're making you homeless again. Thanks, Lisa. You're trained in mental health at a basic level, and you're making a vulnerable woman on severe disability homeless because she stood up for herself. Talk about polishing a turd. They were putting brand new carpets down when I moved in. Your placement with us will be coming to an end as from tomorrow. So, as of yesterday, Friday the 3rd of March, I'm homeless. And I still want to jump off Beachy Head. And I've still had enough. And I still don't know how my father died. Yeah, you're trained in mental health at a basic level. But don't bother with the crisis team, because they don't care either. Eastbourne Council have said they will be finding you alternative accommodation. No. I am shattered. What you are seeing of me here like this is a miracle. It's taken me about a week to get to this. It took me about 4 or 5 days just to wash my hair. I booked into this hotel because I wanted a nice hot bath, which is what I had 6 years ago when I was at that place. I had a nice big Victorian bath. Now I've got a shower that I don't even like showers. And it's not that hot. And I got them to make it hot for me, but it's not that hot. I've got so much stuff you wouldn't believe. I've got piles of washing. I've been so ill I can't sleep or eat or look after myself. I just had loads of takeaways and the boxes are all over the place. Not one person could even show a tiny ounce, not even a teeny weeny little bit of just not even just a smidgen of just basic, and I mean basic compassion and good manners. No, you just get a demented drunk on the desk going, "You've seen a mental health nurse. I told you you've seen a mental health nurse." You need need to find alternative accommodation, so you will need to contact your housing officer to discuss. Eastbourne Borough Council have a copy of this letter. Yours sincerely, Lisa, the manageress. Give me a kick in the teeth. That would be nice. That would be better than nothing. Been up to Beachy Head so many times. I've attempted suicide so many times. It's really not that different to supported accommodation, and everyone's saying the same thing. But if you come over here illegally in a dinghy, you get trafficked, you get, you know, deal under the table, human racketeering. Just say, you know, give your papers and say you're this or say you're that. You could be an absolute criminal. You could be a rapist. You could be anything. You'll be put up on a luxury liner or 5-star accommodation, get all your food and all your bills paid for. And whilst people born in this country are dying on the streets and can't even afford the heat. Oh, can I afford to heat or eat? I mean, really, this is just MK Ultra social engineering, and I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. And I'm praying so hard, and I'm looking at my grey hairs and I'm thinking, is there any point? I don't even have a housing officer. I was meant to see another woman called Pippa. An angel. Someone called Angel. Would you believe? Angel. I don't know if that's a joke or not. It was an angel, fallen angel, who rang me to give me the news that I'm suddenly homeless again. Well, thanks, Dr. Stewart, but you done bugger all. So, as I'm not able to live stream, this is the voice message I got from a Romina on Friday with the great news.
Saved messages. Hello, Connie. My name's Jamila. I'm calling from Eastbourne in the council about your housing application. Basically, just to let you know that the council have issued a Section 188 notice to say that they will not be able to provide you with emergency accommodation. And you will have to make your own arrangements. So, back on this number that I've given you, and let me give you my number again. So basically, my name is Romina, and my phone number is 79.
Right, okay, you don't need to hear that. Right, you don't need to hear that.
Decision, so you will have to make your own arrangements.
No, it's not.
For emergency accommodation. Thank you.
No, it's not the council's decision. That is exactly what Scottish Basil Fawlty said to me, Jim, on the desk. And the first thing he said to me was, "You can put my name at the top of that letter." They said that I was recording staff. And he was a bit nervous. Well, I'm not surprised. They're just absolute bare-faced liars. They're just like the council themselves. They just cover their own backs. They don't care at the end of the day. They don't care as long as they go home. They don't care if they've caused someone to take their own life. And then Lisa's trained in mental health. Oh, her father's just died. I know. Her GP got her in here. I know. Let's make her homeless again. Yeah. Well done, Lisa. Well done, Lisa. And you're the manageress. And on the website it says you're all trained in mental health. Really? Really? Because you're not really treating me that differently to someone who was mugging the elderly with her mother, who also drunkenly assaulted me. And I've done care work with the elderly. And I showed you this. Yes. Brave Bryony battles on. She's doing care work with the elderly. That was me 20 years ago. I've been asking for help with my mental health for 26 years. Never had it to date. Never will. Suddenly I'm in a corrupt system where I'm having to deal with nasty, vindictive people like you who can't even tell the truth because you're telling the council that I'm recording people, which is a lie. I recorded one person, Scottish Basil 40, and I told him that I had recorded one thing that he said and I admitted to it. But I haven't been going around recording people. But it was a Sergeant Simmons who told me to purchase a dictaphone to record antisocial behaviour. Then they arrested me for doing it. Then they gave me a damn good beating when I found out my father's been dead for over a year. The day I received that email from the law firm, and I'm on a welfare list. Yes, a welfare list. Well done, Lisa. Well done. Manageress of a council temporary accommodation where they're trained in mental health. The GP and the care coordinator had just got me in there. I've got domestic abuse issues. I've had crimes committed against me from the police, YouTube police abusing powers trolls. I told Lisa I will show you the obscene phone call. You were meant to have a look at the CCTV to see who it was bringing in that letter from Eben. Because Darren was not meant to know where I live and you didn't even look on the CCTV. So Princess Angela from Police Abusing Powers, it's a little bit too late to tell me that I should not be made homeless as a vulnerable woman due to domestic abuse because you were one of the people harassing me and I've got you recorded onto my laptop and I've still got your harassing text messages. So don't you dare palm this off onto my partner. You don't know me, you don't know my partner. Dan from Police Abusing Powers and Tina Chave of the Independent Advice Network were meant to help me, but they didn't. They are liars and grifters, and you've all committed crimes against a vulnerable woman.